remember the US markets today have opened with deep gaseous cuts of more than 1% after US President Donald Trump has ramped up pressure on China ahead of the final round of trade talks. Blaming slow progress in the talks, the US President has told Beijing to brace for higher tariffs come Friday. Trump has also threatened to bring more Chinese goods under the tariff net. The move marks a major escalation in trade tensions and a shift in tone from Trump as well, who has earlier, remember, cited progress when it came, when it was the trade talks, but less than a rosy picture from United States. The trade representative today as well has said that there were some of the issues because of which China has decided to pull back some of the commitments, and that has prompted Trump's decision and that jab on Twitter at Beijing. Chinese officials, meanwhile, are scheduled to meet their US counterparts in Washington on Wednesday, but reports suggest that China is considering cancelling its trade talks, and this, of course, with US this week in light of Trump's latest threats. And to discuss more on that, joining us on the phone line is Peter Cadlo. Peter, good evening. Let me first begin by asking you, Donald Trump once again has gone ahead and has threatened China. A lot of people said at one point of time that we will not see things come to this level, that the trade talks will be cancelled. How should one be looking at it, given the fact that the global markets are really unnerved with the way things are shaping up?
Well, I think, first of all, this is just a threat on the part of Mr. Trump, and I think it's one of his tactics in order to get some sort of a trade deal done by the end of this week. And, of course, we also heard from the Chinese during the night that they were thinking about canceling the negotiations for this week. And, of course, then we also heard from one of the ministers who said that the Chinese negotiators are set to come to the U.S. for the resumption of the trade talks. So, basically, the markets took a fairly sharp hit at the opening, but they have since reversed course, and they're still down, but they've come back at least 50% of the earlier declines, and that's a good sign. So I kind of think what happened here was obviously that news did catch traders off guard, and as a result of that, during the night session, we saw the futures plunge, and of course it reflected in basically a lower opening that reflected the plunge that we saw in the futures markets. But I think, another reason for it was the fact that the market, that is the indices, on Friday closed at record highs. And so by catching the traders off guard, that basically accelerated the downward trend, and traders took some profit. So you can say part of this decline was due to profit taking.
Yeah.
As I said before.
Yeah. Right. Peter, sorry to interrupt you, but I just wanted to get a question there. Do you think that Beijing is trying its best to sort of salvage some calm because, they put out a statement saying that, look, our trade delegation is still very much, going to be on its way to Washington? Do you believe that that's really going to be the most important near-term indicator that the market's going to be looking at?
I think so, and I think that if the Chinese wanted to really react in a very negative way, or just to send a real message to the White House, they would have said, okay, we're canceling this week's trip, and we'll think about resuming it at a later date. And I think that would, that certainly would have been scary for the markets, and that certainly would have sent a different message to the White House. So the fact that that has not happened, and the fact that this is merely a threat on the part of Mr. Trump, I think that it bodes well for some sort of a trade deal. Now, whether or not Mr. Trump is going to get what he wants in total, and whether or not the Chinese are going to get what they want is a different question. But I think from from a fundamental and from a psychological viewpoint, both sides want to end this trade war. Nobody is a winner in a trade war. And so I think some sort of an agreement will come, and that agreement should help relieve a lot of the fears that we've had, ups and downs of these trade negotiations.
Peter, thank you so much for that.